I should probably apologize in advance for this, but I lost the game. Well, hey there guys, I'm Axel the Beast, and this is the Curiosity Shop, the ZeldaEngine.net video mailbag where I answer your Zelda questions. Matt asks, what was your favorite race in Ocarina of Time and why? Well, this is a good one for everyone else to chime in on, but I think for me it was honestly the Deku Scrubs or whatever. I don't know if that really counts as a race because, yeah, it wasn't Majora's Mask, but in Ocarina of Time they were honestly just enemies, although I guess there was a lot of them and they did play them up like a race with the merchants and whatever, so I don't know. But I like the Deku a lot because I felt like they were, of the main races, they were the most unique and interesting, not something you really have seen before. I guess the Gorons had their own flavor, and so did the Zoras, but I guess in essence it's still just rock people and fish people to me, and this just, I mean, I like the races, but in terms of picking a favorite, the Deku's what stuck with me the most, so I like them a lot. But again, tell me your guys' favorite Ocarina of Time race in the comments. Hyrule Historian asks, do you have a defining moment in the Zelda series? Not really sure what you mean by that exactly. Well, like, the moment that I really became a Zelda fan, honestly, was sort of random, and sometime after I'd played the Wind Waker, I just, like, a couple years later, I just started thinking about the series a lot and decided it was my favorite series, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I guess the defining moments, like, for me becoming a fan, would be when I first played Ocarina of Time, which a story I've told on recent mailbags, or when I first played Majora's Mask, which was the Zelda game that honestly made the biggest impression on me. However, I think another memory I had that was sort of defining for me as a gamer, I guess, related to Majora's Mask once again, was actually that Majora's Mask's final boss, Majora itself, was the first significant case of me defeating a boss battle on my own without walkthroughs and just figuring out how to do it. Because I honestly used walkthroughs and guides a lot up until that point, and especially for, like, boss fights, because I was just, like, ridiculously intimidated by them for whatever reason. So that was one of the first times I did that. So, depending on what you mean, there's a host of little answers there. Everyone else in the comments, chime in as well. Malik Edwards asks, if Zelda Wii U is going to have voice acting, would you try out for Link's voice or any character at all? Yo Mama, my name is Link, asks, do you think it is a possibility that Zelda 3DS is just a quick way for Nintendo to get money? To me, it seems like they are putting all the work into the Wii U game, and not spending enough time thinking about how to do the next Zelda on the 3DS. Well, ultimately, regardless of, like, how quickly they intend to do so, it is certainly a way for them to make money. That's the point of making a video game. So I guess, just at base, I think it's a little odd to start talking about it like that. Is this a quick way to make money? Certainly, it is a quicker to develop Zelda game. It's a handheld Zelda game. They probably could do something way more interesting, but I don't honestly think it's all about just like, oh, let's just figure something really simple and stupid and get it out of the way. I think that they really did feel like this is the Zelda game they wanted to make, and I think there are a lot of Zelda fans. I mean, certainly there's going to be people who are disappointed that this isn't a 3D game, but there are actually going to be a lot of Zelda fans. I'm one of them who did kind of want to see a game like this, so I don't think that was their entire thought process. I don't really think that they just decided, oh, let's just do something lazy and get the game out of the way. I don't think that was what they were doing, no. Otaku32, and this guy's impressive, actually. This is the first person to pretty much guess all the sounds and music and whatever the last mailbag. The only thing he missed was the quote, and that's just so close. I don't think anyone else has ever came that close, and I think I gotta give him props and answer the question even though he didn't get everything. He asks, do you think that since A Link to the Past takes place in the Hero Dies timeline, we'll see a new sort of hero shade? Well, I'm not entirely sure if you, like, are referring specifically to Zelda 3DS or just, like, that timeline in general. I guess I don't know how to, I don't know what my answer would be for that. The dead time, like, yeah, he did die. The hero definitely did die, so there definitely would be, like, an element of him, like, regretting passing on his skills or whatever. Like, the same phenomenon could be there. But, I don't know. I guess I just think it would be, just not a plot point they'd touch on because it's more part of that other timeline, the child timeline. I would think that rather than them doing another story where, like, he has all these regrets, they'd simply say that those regrets were resolved when Ganon was eventually defeated or something. And, also, that timeline already has the Dark World stuff in terms of lingering spirits, like the Flute Boy, so it seemed like it would be sort of a very already treaded plot point for them to cover, unlike the other timelines where it was actually very refreshing. So I guess I really don't see them doing it. I don't see them doing it like on a the same thing in a new way on another timeline. I just don't see that happening. It is an interesting thought, and, you know, hey, if they did it, it would be pretty interesting. Midget Rocker 36 asks, what did you think about the addition of the fairies in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask? Did you like them? Do you think fairies will be included again in future games? Actually, fairies were been in the series since the first Zelda game. I guess, like, in terms of bottling them and them being a revival mechanism when you die, probably started in A Link to the Past. That still wasn't Ocarina of Time. But, yeah, just a little history lesson there. I think we can safely say that at this point, there's such a fixture in the series that there's no way we're not going to see them in every Zelda game from here on out. They're here to stay, definitely. Darkbones 812 asks, would you like a game where it showed that what Sheik did in the 7 years Link was gone in Ocarina of Time? You know, this is something a lot of fans have talked about, and I did bring this up in terms of, like, what characters would be interesting to see spin-offs for. And certainly, it would be very interesting to see that. It would be a very cool, like, there's a lot of cool stuff they could do with that. It would be a very interesting storyline, and in terms of a spin-off, not a main series game, because the tone would have to be completely different than, you know, what we'd expect from a Zelda game. But in terms of, like, a really cool spin-off, it would actually be awesome, definitely. I guess I don't see something like that really happening, and I don't really feel like a burning need to see it. It just seems like a story that doesn't need to be told. It would be kind of cool to see it if they did it, but it's just, I guess, kind of moot. They've already covered enough of that storyline in Ocarina of Time. You don't need the details, so. Link JRC asks, have you ever noticed that there are only 2 male sages out of 7, including Zelda? Why, yes. I did notice that. Lucky Shot 0725 asks, I want to know if the only way to complete 100% both Oracle of Ages and Seasons is to play through both games twice and use the hero's secret after you beat a Link game. Yeah, you really do have to play through both of them twice to get 100% in both of them. It's the whole Link feature. There's a lot of upgrades and whatnot that you have to use the passwords and whatnot to get in both games. I don't know. I think it's kind of an obnoxious that it is like that. You have to beat it twice to get everything, and it's usually annoyed me in most of the Zelda games it's happened in. But it also was very cool in some ways. So I don't know. I think it was a cool system. You didn't ask me for my opinion about the system, but I gave it anyway because I like to give my. Deity Wolf Link asks, do you think that the Fierce Deity Link deserves a backstory on how he was created? Deity means god, so what if he was a god? Actually, well, yeah, deity does mean god, but actually the Japanese name for that mask and form or whatever, actually was only, like, the Oni mask, which is a kind of demon, but that has very different connotations in the Japanese culture. He's basically an ogre. It's Ogre Link. So, that explanation wouldn't work in terms of the original story. And also the fact that he's basically a mask that's as evil as Majora would imply to me that it's probably not a god. But bottom line is, I don't really think that this needs to be touched on. It was very mysterious, and it was, honestly, I don't think Fierce Deity Link, Oni Link, whatever, had any real importance to the storyline. I think it was just something really cool they wanted to put in, and it's like an idea they had or a design they weren't going to use, but thought, oh, we gotta use this. And they used it as that extra cool final unlockable in the game, basically, to make the final battle really easy. And I don't think that there was an intended explanation. I don't think that there really needs to be. I think it, like a lot of things in Majora's Mask, are better for being mysterious. Majora's Mask was a very mysterious game, and I think if you tried to do a follow-up of any kind where it explains all of the details and just rips out the mystery, it would just kind of ruin the game. And that's my opinion, and I've stated this numerous times. I don't think Fierce Deity Link, Oni Link needs any expansion. That's just me. Final and last question. Link the Hero asks, if you look on Demise's sword, assuming you're looking at it blade pointing up, you will see an upside-down Triforce. Do you think this has a similar meaning to an upside-down cross in Christianity, or is it just a design or something else? I'm not inclined to think they put a ton of thought into this. They probably just stuck the Triforce on there. I mean, Demise was indeed seeking the Triforce. The idea about it being an upside-down Triforce and mimicking the upside-down cross being, like, demonic or whatever, yeah, that could have been part of their intent. I mean, they've certainly used crosses in, like, the original Zelda game and Zelda 2, so it's not like they're completely unaware of imagery with the cross. So, yeah, that could have been what they had in mind. I think it's sort of unclear what their intention was. There's, like, not much you can really speculate on this and say for sure one way or the other, so I guess I just don't know. It's possible. I think it's also possible that that was a complete coincidence. So, I'm not very helpful. Alright guys, that's it for this time. Be sure to send your questions to the contact information in the description, and I'll see you guys later. Sonic Zelda Hero asks, do you think, and this is for every viewer, should Nintendo take away Skulltulas for good so Zelda will not lose fans all around the world? Yeah, they should. For the children.